Well, onto this conversation now. Therapy is cancelled. Well, that's according to Fentse, a young R&B singer and songwriter who is dealing with issues of life on her own. After taking a 2-year hiatus from music, she comes back with a new album where she takes us on a journey using playful, acoustic and breezy sounds as she deals with navigating the human experience. She joins me now in studio to tell us more about her journey and her music. Good evening to you. Thank you very much for joining us here on Newsnight.
Thank you so much for having me.
My absolute pleasure. So talk to us about your musical journey and where this love and passion for music started for you.
I think it was just always in me. You know, my grandfather on my dad's side was in a choir. He was a principal, but he used to tour around and stuff when I was younger.
Yeah.
And then on my mom's side, my granddad was a visual artist. So I think it's just the creative has just always been there.
Yeah,
it's
in the family.
Yeah.
So what I read about you is that you actually knew that music was your calling at the age of 12.
Yeah.
For so many people, and so often people find that so late in life, and some people even struggle to find it throughout their lives.
Yeah.
How did you know at such a young age of 12 that this is what you're meant to do?
I think you're just guided. I mean, you know, when you're young, you just do, you act on impulses. I always just felt like singing, and I was always in the choir or in the fashion show and choreographing things, or I was head of marimbas by matric. I was, you know, so it's just like, I just did what felt right. And I just knew that, okay, this is something that I would like to pursue in life in general.
Life, yeah. So you said that you come from a creative family. Was your family always supportive of you when wanting to pursue the arts? Because families and parents can be a bit unsure, because we know that the arts are very tricky.
Yeah, so my mom is a doctor, so she was, and I'm very smart, I'm an architect, so she was like, you know, you're really smart, you're too smart for the music. I just don't think that like this is the path that you should be going, but I did all of that. I did the studying, I qualified, I'm a qualified architect, I'm junior, and I just felt like something was missing, like I was not fulfilling my destiny and answering my calling. So I just decided in varsity that I'm gonna give it a shot. Like part of getting it right is getting it really wrong. So I was just like, if failure is like the only other option, then I don't mind.
Yeah,
just
and there's really nothing wrong with failing as long as you learn from it and you progress. So how do you balance being an architect and then the music? Is the music the hobby? Is architecture the hobby? How do you balance it?
Like I said, I'm a creative and I like expressing myself in different ways. And I think in terms of the school route, architecture was the closest thing that I could tap into that was creative enough and that still challenged me enough in terms of studying. So balancing wise right now it's really difficult, but you know what they say, that women have to work 10 times harder at everything. So I just like how challenging it is, and I'm a Virgo, so I'm like, I love working hard and completing tasks and just pushing myself in general. Like I thrive when there's a challenge, you know.
So let's talk about your sound. If people haven't heard you and are experiencing you for the first time tonight, how would you describe your music and your sound?
I would say ethereal.
Oh, interesting.
Especially in this project, I think I was very much in my dream la la land and very much connecting with my inner child and being like, what would my inner child make right now? And really fulfilling that desire of like just wanting to be heard and seen and honoring her, honestly. That's just where I am in my journey right now, just literally being like, I'm honoring my inner child and what would she like, and what I'm just serving her right now. It's a devotional act of love towards her. So
well, that excites me. I'm excited to hear your music, but let's talk about the album.
Okay.
It's titled Therapy is Cancelled.
Yes.
It can be quite triggering.
Yes, it is controversial.
Why, firstly, that specific title, and then tell us about the album.
I think Therapy is Cancelled just sort of explores the themes and the tools that I have when I don't have access to therapy. And literally, the name came when my therapist was like, hey, I can't see you today, can we make another day? And I was like, oh, therapy is cancelled. Then I was just like, it just was an aha moment for me. So it's everything from conversations to with the people I love, to having these epiphanies, to astrology, to prayer, you know, and walks and mindfulness. And
what about mental health? Do you dive into the issues of mental health?
I do.
As well?
I think I do, very subtly though.
Okay.
For me, it's like you're already giving so much of yourself as an artist. I just haven't really tapped into fully to expressing my mental health, I think, vividly within my project. It's very subtle and poetic, and you get the undertones and the story as you feel it through. Yeah.
And then, what inspires you to write these songs? We'll talk about your single White Doves shortly.
Yeah.
But what is the place that you go to when writing and producing music?
I think my role models in music, like Solange, like she's a big role model of mine, and you know, she speaks about really difficult things and she knows how to communicate them effectively and still musically, you know. So, and also I've just always loved the idea of creating worlds. I create worlds, and and I love Marvel, like, you know, so it's just like, these are like my sources of inspiration: movies, Marvel, conversations.
And it's very unique. It's a very unique perspective as well. So let's dive into White Doves. This is a single from your album. Talk to us about the song and what it's about.
I think it just explores the vulnerability of just being in love, and, you know, the uncertainty of just like, okay, I feel all these things, but this other person might not be ready, but I still feel the way that I feel, and just allowing myself to be vulnerable and express that and be sad, but also happy that I get to experience this and feel love and allow myself to open up this much. And and
I think the artists that really excel are the artists that makes us feel something when we look at the art or listen to their art. As an artist, how difficult is it to tap into those deep emotional spaces that you normally hide from everyone? It takes a lot of guts to be that vulnerable. But I feel like as an artist, you usually need to tap into those spaces. Do you find it challenging, or do you find it liberating?
I find it liberating because I do struggle with my emotions, but I think when I'm creating, I'm using it as a pathway to tap into what I'm really feeling. So I think the music itself helps me get more vulnerable and open up a bit more and be honest with how I'm feeling, because sometimes I just don't want to talk about it or express it in conversations.
Which is understandable. So what's the plan? I mean, we've seen young South African musicians blowing up globally. The likes of Elaine has been doing amazing. Tyler has been doing amazing as well. Do you have plans to expand outside of South Africa? What's the sort of medium to long-term plans?
No, definitely. I think it's weird because I'm such a spiritual person, and presence is so important to me because you create in the present moment, right? And I might have all these dreams of like, I want to tour. Like, that's one dream that I have. Tour on a big budget though, you know, Beyonce budget touring.
And is this a long-term goal?
Yeah, this is like one of my biggest like dreams.
Okay, so that's at the top of the list.
Yeah, that's at the top of the list. Like touring and being able to live off my craft, you know. I think being independent or just growing as an artist, it's really difficult, you know, you're kind of caught up in trying to sort of prove your worth, you know, to people before they start investing in you, which is a reality. But, you know,
it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Fentse, listen, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your story. I wish you all of the best in your career and everything else that you're doing. And I can't wait for your performance. You're going to be performing for us a little bit later. Can't wait for that. So thank you very much. And I hope that our viewers will stay tuned for that performance as well. That was R&B singer and songwriter Fentse talking about her new album and also the songs on that album. One of them called White Doves, and she'll be performing that after the break.